accepting that something you've been doing for a while is over is very tough. I've been talking for the past several weeks about dealing with loss is like dealing with a death, and nothing in this world lasts forever. So the mental obstacle to overcome closing out a chapter and focusing on the new chapter, this transitional period is very challenging. And you will experience it in certain parts of your life. Transitions are challenging. I remember someone told me one time the safest part of an airplane flight is when you are mid flight. The most dangerous part of an air flight is when you take off and when you land, because you're transitioning from the ground to flight and you're transitioning from flight to the ground. And this is the most risky part of travel. And in one sense, we are all traveling through our lives and we are all on our journeys and we are all on different parts of our journeys. And you may just be taking off on one part. You may just be opening up a chapter on one part, and I may be closing on that part. I've definitely been talking in specifics regarding car living and being a nomad that I really do feel it's over. I really do. For me. And I am really struggling with going to the next chapter. I kind of have accepted that I'm not going to be living in my car long term. I just don't see it. I don't see that as a feasible, wise move. And so now, I don't want to be redundant, but I need to talk this out for therapy, and I need to share. Infinity, I love you, brother. And I support you in your journey as you look ahead and you will sell your condo and live in your travel trailer. I support you and you're doing the right thing. And I love you and I appreciate everything that you've done for me, man. And I always want to encourage all of you out there that when I share, I'm sharing out where I'm at. And you have to figure out where you're at. And if what you're doing is responsible and healthy for you, keep doing it. That's your goals. Pat, I love you. Good squirrel emojis, Pat. Yeah, I fed the squirrels today, Pat. I saw some rabbits, but wild rabbits don't eat, they mainly eat grass. So I don't give them peanuts. I don't know what I could feed a rabbit. I guess I could bring carrots. But the rabbits are not that friendly like squirrels. Good to see you, Pat. Sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, I go for a walk. That's my number one go-to. And I do fear the day that I cannot be able to go for a walk and God forbid I'm still in my car. I've had a lot of fear lately about things happening and me being vulnerable. I've never felt that. In the 4 years I've been in my car, I've never felt the need for a level of stability I feel now. And, I'm 40 years old now. I'll be 41 very soon. And for some people that's young, for some people that's middle age. It is middle age though. And I think as you get older, the need for stability is greater. It's the way it is. And as we get older, moving to the next chapter is harder. When we're younger, we have a bounce back in our step. We have a spring in our step. We have a unlimited potential, unlimited hope. And as we get older, how many more times am I going to go around this merry-go-round? Because life is a little bit of a cycle. Fred, I felt that was coming, Sam. It's all good. I'm rooting for you. Does this mean you bought the condo? Thank you, brother. No, I haven't closed the deal. And I'm trying to talk this out to help me. I know I'm being redundant on some of these live feeds, but I need to talk this out because what I'm struggling with now is not the acceptance that the days of me living in my Jeep are numbered. It's where do I go from here? It's closing this chapter and focusing on the new one. I think the condo is the best option. I really do. I've tried to analyze every option. Um, and if I'm not going to stay on the road, I don't see, it's tough, I'm sure hurricane season will come though, and I'll certainly want flexibility. But I visualize and I plan out what that looks like, even if I was in a travel trailer or Class B. And, I don't know, but I just want to share tonight that for me, I need to talk this out, that a part of my life is over now. And you guys and girls may be going through it in your own way, in your own circumstance, whether with a relationship, with a career, with a house, whatever. And so for me, I have to talk this out, and I have to say that everything, the wisdom is no longer there to do what I'm doing. The spirit, the drive is no longer there. The logic is no longer there. There's not much to keep this chapter open. Right now, the chapter remains open until I figure out how to transition properly. Because I'm about to figure out some type of landing, whether I land in a Class B or land in a condo. And I'm struggling mentally with indecision because I'm closing something, and I have to deal with that while also deal with what comes with a new chapter. And just like a new job comes a great new paycheck, but it also comes new responsibilities. One thing I've been trying to reflect on that helped me overcome mentally is when I really struggled with leaving a night shift job that I was very comfortable on, and I didn't have to leave, but I kind of felt it was over, and go to a better job that was during the day, closer to home, and had more upside. And I went back and forth in my mind for a few weeks. And thank God, I eventually made the decision to go forward. We have to go forward in life. We can try to hold on to the past, but it's just a hopeless waste of energy. Because again, time is like a river. You can never touch the same spot twice. Part of, again, dealing with something being over is dealing with a death. Part of me changing my life again is, as I get older, I'm starting to build a life on my own, without my mother, without the environment I grew up. And this would be like the nail in the coffin of a new life. Now, in one sense, I do think it's wisdom for me to have some type of place that if my mom did need to come, I have, because I think right now, I just don't see the wisdom in living in a car. And so again, as I talk this out with my circumstance, I want you to visualize your own circumstance. You may say, I don't see the wisdom of me staying in a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house because I'm divorced. I don't see the wisdom of me keeping 2 cars, okay, because it's only me in the house. That chapter is over. I remember, when I lived in my condo community in New Jersey, I remember there was a guy, he eventually died of cancer, but he was a great guy. He was retired. He was in his 60s, late 60s. And his wife had died, I think, like 10 years prior, when he was just starting to retire in late 50s. And we would talk about, life. And I said, he would share about his ex, about his wife that passed away. And like he had met some girl that was in my community, and he was dating her. He knew her. And he goes, yeah, Sam, it's tough to deal with the death in life. But, I was able to, find someone else to at least keep me company. He goes, but I go, so what'd you do, with the house that, you have with your wife? He goes, well, I still have it. So, obviously he had to accept the fact that his wife died. It was 10 years since she died. And he had moved on, at least with a level of companionship. Again, when you move on, sometimes, you're never going to replace someone like, that you truly love, but, some people just need someone else to be around. You have to be careful, though, with filling that void. That can be destructive. But I remember him telling me, yeah, he said, I still have the house that I was married to with my wife. I said, really? I said, what are you doing? Renting it out? Because I always see you here. He goes, no, I just keep it. He goes, I just can't bring myself to sell it. And so even though the chapter was over, he just couldn't close it out. It was mental. Here was a guy. He's been retired for 10 years. He had plenty of money. He had a couple cars, actually. He had a motorcycle. He had a vacation home in the Bahamas. He was not struggling financially. But psychologically and emotionally, to close that chapter, he just couldn't do it. Mel, thank you for that gracious super chat. I believe that's from Australia. $7.99. Hi, Sam. Good seeing you again. Thank you. I missed you. My son and I are well. Oh, okay, I remember. Yeah. Ongoing positive thoughts and people around us. Yes. Oh, Mel. Yeah, now I remember. From Brazil to Australia. Love to you and your son, Mel. I remember you. Great to see you, and gratitude and thank you. Yeah, it's amazing that how this time goes on. I remember seeing Mel almost like a year ago now on the live feeds. And as time passes, things change. This time last year, right, I was sitting in New Jersey, very bitter. Spending a lot of time with my mom, spending a lot of time trying to wait for society to open up. Going through political unrest and everything else. Infinity, $1.99 super chat. Remember, time is undefeated. You damn right. We can't beat it. Infinity, like I said, you are a wise, loving person. And I want you to do what you want to do and live your life, because you're a hard worker, you're a positive person, and you have to seize the moment while you have the youth, while you have the ability, because you're damn right. As time goes on, we can't get certain things back. I feel different today at 40, almost 41, than I did at 36, 37 when I started living in my car. I feel different. Mentally and emotionally and psychologically. And like I said, last year this time, I try to remember that. So, Sam, what were you doing a year ago? Well, I was in New Jersey, and I was grateful to be with my mom, but it was a lot of contention because, I had siblings there. That's not the environment I thrive. It's very crowded around there. And I try to visualize that to help me to go forward, because I say to myself, Sam, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay on the road? Do you want to go back up north now? I don't know if that would really help anyone, including me or my mom or anyone, because you can't change anyone but you. And, sometimes we think that if we go backwards, that it'll like give us the same feeling that we once had. But what I've learned in life is, whether you go back to a relationship, you go back to doing something that you once did that you no longer, it's like being the 35-year-old person in the strip club. You just look out of place and you look silly. Like I say, guys, once you get into your 30s and definitely late 30s, 40s, you got to get the hell out of the strip club. Shout out to my man, Dan Diamond. You got to get the hell out of the club. A middle-aged person should not be in a regular club. You should be, maybe in an adult dancing facility or something like that. But again, teach their own. I digress on that. But I say that to show that example that it's very hard to move on for people. Because it's very hard to see a new life. It's very easy to look at the old life. And I'm trying to see my next chapter. And I can visualize some of it, but I can't visualize all of it. And I've been thinking about MLK says, faith is taking the first step without seeing the entire staircase. Again, I think about let wisdom guide you. I really don't see much wisdom in staying in my car anymore or doing certain things. I don't see much wisdom, and I see more risk than wisdom. And so I've been asking God to help me. Because in all my logic, I can figure out a lot, but I cannot bring myself to go to the next chapter. And I mean, again, I do believe that, look, either you go to your next chapter or you're forced into it. Because time will keep going. As Infinity said, it's undefeated. So I want to go to all live comments, but for me, again, I very much do not want to be redundant and be a burden, but I need to share this for me, and I have to be true to where I'm at. I have to try to just keep a level of movement in my life to keep me going until I can figure out this next chapter. When you're trying to figure out your next chapter, you have to keep moving. Because like I always tell you, you can't outthink depression. You can't sleep away into the solution. My mom was struggling with a couple things today. I talked to her. And she was frustrated, so she went to Burger King. And, of course she regretted it because, that's what fast food is. You eat that food, and which I understand, and then to get a high, and then you crash because it's so destructive to your digestive system and your organs. And but I understand why she ate it, because she's got some things going on. It's very stressful, and I want to help with some things, but some things I know I can't from my own life experience. That everyone has their own choices, And I've tried to get in the middle sometimes of other people, and it never works out. Never get in the middle of someone else's business unless you are specifically asked and there's a specific course of resolution. There's even a scripture that says don't get involved in someone else's quarrel, in someone else's fight. It's foolish. And so how do we overcome this mental roadblock? I mean, many people that did the right thing, they worked hard, and they can't go to the next chapter of maybe. I knew this one guy, great guy. He was very supportive to me, and I appreciate him. I respect him. He did everything right. He worked hard his whole life. He, I believe overall, my experience, he treated people right. And he had this dream of traveling and of going to these different places. And he did everything he needed to do, but he still had not traveled last time I had knew. And I always find that odd. Like, what do people wait for to go to the next chapter? What do I wait for? Do we wait for a red sign that says now is no other? Do we wait to be forced? Many times in life, we wait to be forced. It's true. Proactive change is very impressive. But, sometimes when the change isn't obvious, it's very hard. Because, like we always talk about, there's risks and there's downside to every decision. I want to go to live comments because I see some good ones. And I know Pat had talked about quality of life. And that's one thing I'm really focused on right now. Because I did think, I know Pat had left that comment, that basically saying I vote on staying in a car for 10 years and you really position yourself well for retirement. And it's true, but that obviously, that equation assumes that, I'm able to keep my main job and not have any hiccups there. It assumes that I maintain my health. It assumes that I have no issue that I need to hunker down in 10 years. It assumes that my mom doesn't need to come live with me. 10 years is a long time. A lot can happen and a lot will happen in 10 years. And even if everything went right, to your point, what would be my quality of life? My quality of life right now is getting lower. I really feel it now. I didn't feel it in a long time, but I feel it now. And that's why I know this chapter's over. And I at least have to just say that, if nothing else, for personal therapy. To help me accept and I got to figure this out now. And I have to just keep acknowledging what I know to be true. I'm trying to look at it every way, but the reality is that everything ends. And everything will be okay. Look, we reinvent ourselves. So I don't have this tremendous fear, especially I'm very fortunate I have options. But I have, what we all struggle with, this mental barrier. The fear of the unknown. Adam, man, $5 super chat. Sammy, I'm happy for you. Well, Adam, like I said, brother, I'm grateful for you, man. You're a very positive person. Don't let anyone take advantage of your kindness, including me. I know you're very happy for me. You've been very gracious to me. And I want you to be happy for yourself and whatever your future is. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you to all people who do show me tremendous love. Thank you. So like I said, let's thank you, Adam. Let's go to live comments. And let's see what you guys got to say. Infinity, I love to again. Pat, yes. Squirrels. Fred, oh yeah, I read that. Thank you, Fred. Pat, oh, bunny emojis. Good job, Pat. Yeah, the bunnies, that's what they look like. They just hop around. Pat, house emoji. Yeah, I don't know, the house is the double-edged sword, It's the safe haven and it's the coffin. It's the place of rest. And it's the place of responsibility. I'm feeling very positive. Things seems to be falling in place. Yes. Just needed a Florida vacation. I'm very thankful that you took that vacation. I'm very thankful for the people that encouraged you to take it. Good job. Keeping up with Bree. How are you, Bree? Thank you for your love. I was thinking about your words today. And that's what you said. You said, Sam, be thankful. At least you got options. So thank you, Bree. Forgive me again for talking this out. But I need to. Because this is just what I feel I need to do to keep me going. Thank you, Bree. I love you. Fred, we've all seen you struggling with this for weeks now. It's been a burden to you guys, and I apologize for that. So feel free to express yourself and talk it out. Thank you. Yeah, it's being redundant now, and I know it. But I just need to keep doing it until I figure this out. I do play out the scenario where I just say, fuck it. To Pat's point, keep everything the same. Just travel with the weather. I would get relief with a little bit of a cooler temperature because it's getting very hot now in Florida. And I know that the lack of temperature control is fucking with me too. And my quality of life gets low when I don't have, when I'm in a very extreme point right now. I mean, so, but it's like if I decide to pull that trigger as far as not doing something in Florida and go back up north with the weather, I think it's good short term, but I don't know if it's good long term, Now, look, more properties tend to come on the market at the end of the summer and the beginning of the fall because that's when all the snowbirds are not here, and that's when people are a little bit more itchy to sell. So, I don't have to be so anxious. And it wouldn't hurt, to just spend quality time with my mom. I could visit some campgrounds up north. I could make it work, and I may. I thought about that. I could do that. But I'm just trying to really think that out because I'm also trying to remember last year. And last year when I was up north, for the longest I've been up north in one area for a long time, uh, it just wasn't good. Now, I know COVID was part of that, but there was some other personal things that were part of that. That's I can't do this again. And, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to be in an unhealthy situation. Sometimes we have this idea in our mind that just being around people we know or we love is a good thing. But the reality is, you have to remember, a lot of times it's a toxic thing. And we can't force it. And so, yeah, thank you, Fred. You've been a blessing to me. Keeping up with Bree. Sometimes I feel like we all know the answers to our life, but we're just so afraid to let go and move forward, which isn't easy. You are correct. You are blessed, Sam. I'm blessed to have you as a friend, Bree. You're a very wise woman, and I love you, and I appreciate you. You keep the boys chasing. God bless you. Mel, thank you again. Love to you and your son. Shout out to all my mothers out there. Shout out to all my fathers. Shout out to all my children. We have to go forward. Love to you, Mel. Infinity, I love you, brother. I support you so much, man. Would I tell someone to sell their house and live in their car or RV? Yes. If they've planned it out responsibly and they have options, yeah, definitely. So, it's like, everyone, I want you to remember that, whatever chapter you're at is not going to be the same as other people. And that's okay. Pat, oh yeah, I read this, but this is a good comment. Says, I vote for keep living in your car and retire in 10 years. I thought about that. In 10 years, I'll be 51 just about. So in 10 years, when I'm about 50, 51, again, if everything went well, if I kept if there was no layoffs with my company and I kept the same job with the same company or a similar job, if I maintain my health, if my mom didn't need anything, 10 years is a long time. I don't know if my mom will be around then. I hate to say that, but, I understand life. So, it's like, you don't want to just wish 10 years away. And you don't want to assume that in 10 years, everything stays the same, because nothing does. One day at a time is, I think, what we'll say tonight. Frank and Cat, hey, Frank and Cat, howdy, Sam. Good seeing you. Good seeing you too, Frank and Cat. You've been a blessing to the channel. Shout out to ESP2. I was praying for her today. She did the walkthrough, I believe, with her Airbnb apartment that she's been renting out for the past 8 months. And now she's going back to living in her van. So I prayed that her walkthrough with her apartment went well, and that, she's doing well with her van life now. That's a big change, again, ESP was living in her van, I think about a year or so ago. And then she decided to get into a short-term Airbnb. And now she's going back to a van life. It's like, it's very tough, to go through those different chapters. Because what you find out is that everything is different. Some things are similar, but you're not the same person that you were a year ago. I'm not the same person, right? None of us are the same person exactly that we were a year ago. And we won't be the same person a year from now. And that's okay. Don't let that be overwhelming. But that's something that you have to factor into your calculating of life, right? Like you calculate, okay, if I do this for X number of years, it'll lead to Y. And it's good to do that because many times you should. Like you should say, look, I'm an apprentice electrician. I should finish out my 5-year apprenticeship and get my journeyman certification. I'll be 28 when I finish it, 25, 35, and then I can do whatever I want. So that's great. But, you just have to remember that not always does everything play out exactly. Thank you, Pat, for understanding quality of life. Twista, what's up, Twista? May the Lord lead you, Sam. I appreciate that. God bless you. I appreciate that. Look, I take wisdom and I take the Lord. Why? Because I'll take everything I can get. Okay, I'll take all the help I can get, guys. Did I curse God today? I did at times. You know, I was a little frustrated at certain things, but but I also thank God today because I had so much to be thankful for today. It was overall there's a lot of positive in my life. So, you know, I want to acknowledge that, guys. I'm really, for the most part, other than my living circumstance, I really could not ask for things to be better. Pluto, man, you're still showing love. $3 super chat. I've been thinking about you, Pluto, because I know you're in a tough position, man. Pluto, love to you and love to Tariq. Pluto was in Pennsylvania and went to California. He was living in his car, and then I believe you're Airbnb now. How are you, Pluto? And how are you doing with your next chapter? You know, how do you feel? And what would you share with someone else, you know, going through a similar experience that you went through? Twister, we are here for you, Sam. Thank you. Don't ever feel like you're letting us down by letting it out. Thank you. We all go through this at some point. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I can't share too much, you know, what my mom, because she got her own problems. And, you know, you don't like to share too much with too many people because everyone's got their own problems. So I just say, fuck it. You know, I got the YouTube channel, and people, if they like what I'm saying, they can watch. If they don't, they can just fucking, you know, turn off the channel. And I got to get it out, you know. I feel it very redundant myself. I'm almost tired of myself saying the same thing. So I appreciate that point too. But I just have to keep working through it to get me to the next step, whatever that is, you know. You know, there's been moments this past week, like to me, Sam, it's the condo. And I feel like if I had to put all the percentages, the condo makes the most sense. But that's such a finality. You know, the Class B and the travel trailer, it brings me to another level, but it leaves a level of wiggle room. But it doesn't, you know, the one problem with the travel trailer and the Class B, if there really is an unstable event, I really haven't solved a core level of stability. You know, now will there be that level of instability? You can, well, I don't know the future, you know, I don't know the future. So, you know, that's the problem. I said to someone this week, I said, I wish I knew the future. They laughed. They said, yeah, I wish I knew too. So, Adam, thank you again, Adam. Love to you, praying for your parents. Adam lives in a fifth wheel travel trailer in Michigan with his parents. One of his parents is struggling with dementia. Adam just took a trip to Florida to get some self-care time. He likes outdoor activities, bushcraft. He watched the NFL draft last night. You know, we have to keep our hobbies, keep our mind busy, keep our body active. That's true. It's awesome that you're feeling positive, Adam. And it was good that you took the vacation for self-care. You got to take time for yourself, especially as a caretaker. Suitcase and gas money. Shout out to Tampa, bro. You have a great asset, time. Thank you, brother. One is appreciation to you. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do have time. But I also feel like time is running out on me. I feel like the places I'm parking, you know, I feel like, you know, I shouldn't be at anymore. Campgrounds are getting harder to really book. And I've looked at almost every option. So I'm like, I feel like, you know, I can't really justify just burning time. Because each day I say to myself, well, did I do today what I would have did no matter what? Look, yeah, I still went to the beach. I still did something. I still did productive things with work. I still did self-care. But I'm spending more time on the road doing little shit to supplement my lack of resources. You know, because when you don't have a home base, you got to go get all your resources. You know, you got to go to the store to get your food. You got to go to the gym to get your shower. You got to go to a place to find shade to do your work. You can't work in a fucking 90-degree weather in your car. I mean, you'd fucking toast. So I said to myself, Sam, you're wasting a lot of time just surviving. And I do feel, look, I should probably be in building mode now. You know, there's three aspects of life: survival, exploration, and building. So if I had to say what one am I in now, I really should be in building. But I've defaulted to surviving and exploring, and I'm not really exploring. So I'm kind of just back to surviving. And I feel I'm regressing, not progressing. Like I said, the big hurdle for me is, look, if I had nothing attaching me to New Jersey, then to me it's a no-brainer because it's nothing attaching me. My mom is a big part of this, for me. She says don't make it a big part of it, but there's a lot to that. So, but it is up to me. Look, I got my own. I'm an adult. I'm a grown person. I've been on my own since I've been young. So, I guess I struggle with building. Someone said to me today, like, well, what lifestyle served you best, living in your car or condo? And I said, well, if I didn't have a condo for 15 years, I wouldn't have built my career. I wouldn't have got involved in a church. I wouldn't have built a couple businesses. If I was living in my car at 22, I would have never built my career. I would have been in an unhealthy situation. I would destroy my life. So a condo served me well in a season of my life, even though it was a pain in the ass and it was a big burden financially. Now, if I never sold my condo and never explored, I would basically just be at Dunkin' Donuts, never have a YouTube channel, never experienced life, never went up and down the East Coast, never experienced the things I experienced. So there's a time for everything. The question is, what's the time now? Is the time to explore? What do I want to explore? The time's to build. What do I want to build? I want to build a safe haven, a place for emergency, a place for rest, a place for reflection, a place for privacy, a place for temperature control. What am I doing? I'm just talking this out to try to help myself. Because I have to articulate, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to find new air? What are you trying to do in your life? Let's go to the next comment. Andre, hey, brother, how are you, man? Hope you're feeling better. Good to see you. Love to you again, brother. Love to you and your family. Pluto, thank you again, brother. You've been a long-time viewer. Think about you and your family often. You're a very positive, loving person. Like many people in here. I mean, it's it is easy to get down on humanity, but I've also seen a lot of good people out there trying the best they can. I mean, I know a lot of you in here are good people, and I know you get burnt because you're good people. And I know that, your kindness gets taken for weakness. And that's why I try to be very honest and direct with you guys, so that, you don't get burned again. I tell you guys straight up, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. But I want to tell all the good people out there, the kind people, is that you have to take care of yourself, And that's not easy. The kindest people very much struggle with being kind to themselves. It's true. And, but it's the ultimate call in all of our lives. I'm trying to slow down as I get older and let some more stuff just be. And not get upset about it. And, because like I said, as you get older, you gotta really decide, what do you want to spend your energy on? What's worth it? And as you get older, you have less energy, so less shit is worth it. When you're young, you got extra energy, so fuck it, I'll get involved in this, that. When you're young, that's the time to explore and figure it out. Like I tell you, I would tell you guys and girls, if you've responsibly set up your life, explore once you have taken care of your career and your health. because the older you get, the less quality it is. It's just a flat out truth. As I get ready to cross the threshold from age 40 to 41, for me, I feel every bit of it. Now, I know some of you people look at me and say, Sam, I'm 51, okay, and I would still get with you, okay, and I understand that. But what I'm trying to tell you is, you you also like to take naps, okay? Life gets us all, in the end, Father Time, Let's go back live comments. Adam says, I did live in the fifth wheel camper, but the doctors told me I need to be in the house. If not, they're going to put my parents in an old folks home. Okay. I don't want that happening, so I moved inside. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing, Adam. Yeah, that's interesting. I can understand that, though. I really can, because, again, you need a level of healthy boundaries. Now, again, if you have no choice, you have no choice. But I didn't know you had a house, too. So, yeah, if you have a house and you can have more doors, a door is a boundary. In a travel trailer, there's not that many doors. So there's not that many boundaries. Just one big, open space, tin can. Again, for the solo travel or just two people, it could work. Very tough with a family over the long haul. I'm not talking about trips. I'm talking about living long term. So, how much square footage does each person need? 200 square feet. I think each person needs a minimum of 200 square foot per person. Now, the good news is if you got 4 people in your house, that's 800 square feet. I think the average house right now is double that, about 1,600 square feet. So, we definitely are at a balance with square footage. But obviously, 4 people in a fifth wheel is too many people. So, there is a balance there. Frankencat. I have difficulty lately trying to think things through because at times it gets overwhelming. I can understand that. So I appreciate that you talk things through out loud of us. Well, thank you for sharing, Frankencat. Yeah, you know what I searched today, Frankencat and everyone? I searched panic attacks. Because as I was trying to figure out, Sam, just make a decision here, I was getting a panic attack. I was getting a lot of anxiety. I felt very overwhelmed. I almost feel like fainting. And normally for me, I'm a very decisive person in most of my dealings. I think I'm a little bit hesitant here because, like I say, if it was just me in this world, I pull the trigger. Why? Because I kind of know where I'm at now. The one variable is I worry about my mom a little bit. I worry about that whole situation up there. Because if I just build my life here and forget about going up north, my mom, and still I don't know what her future is going to bring. I want to make sure that I have enough flexibility to adapt. But in one sense, I say to myself, I got too much flexibility now and not enough security. If something happens, I'm actually going to get screwed. Because in one sense, if I have a home base that's below my means, that may actually help me, not hurt me. But it's a big commitment, It's a big commitment. And, 1 minute I think I have it figured out, and then I say, what this, that, and then I start to get anxiety, and then I get it's a panic attack, I remember Tony Soprano had those panic attacks, but he was doing bad stuff. Okay. Let's go back live comments. The Frankencat. Kind of helps me understand to talk through things. I need to do this for myself and my future. Yes, definitely. What I've learned is you definitely have to be careful who you talk to. Talking things out with the wrong person can very much be destructive. I've sought the counsel of close people that I respect their opinions. And again, like I've been sharing with you guys, every one of my close friends or counselors, whatever you want to call them, have all said, Sam, it's time to do something, to push you forward. It's time for your next chapter. And again, most people say it's the condo, it's unless you want to be on the road, and everything I keep saying doesn't put me on the road. It puts me, in a home, So, the transition of life from one thing to another is the challenging part. Because once you have momentum in doing something, it kind of just does itself, right? But as the momentum starts to wind down, you have to start that momentum again in a different direction. And as you get older, mustering up all that energy is a little bit more challenging. Because even me mentally right now, I'm more scarred than I was 3 years ago. I'm more wore out than I was 3-4 years ago. I look at some of the energy I had 3-4 years ago. Man, I was rocket ship. Now I'm kind of looking forward to being in a rocking chair a little bit, just a little. Okay. I mean, shit, my damn hip is starting to hurt me in this fucking car, man. And that's what goes back to quality of life. I said, I can't kill myself just trying to be stubborn. I mean, I can't. I got to figure it out. Let's go to D. D says, if you think it's bad now, wait till the home inspection times come. Well, I already went through it. I already went through the home inspection. So, I kind of know there's a couple little things, but everything is, I'm not too apprehensive about the home inspection because I have a construction background and I know worst case scenario. And in a condo, there's only a couple components you have to worry about because as long as you read the bylaws and you know it to be true with that condominium association, the condo usually takes care of anything inside the drywalls, the roof, the siding, the foundation, etc. And so, yeah, the condo has the HOA fee, but the condo covers a lot of things, including the master liability insurance. Pretty much, if you buy a condo, the only thing you have to worry about is the heating system, the cooling system, the water heater, and if there's any leaks. So, and then obviously anything cosmetic, right? So, I know a lot of people say get a single family house. Now, a single family house appreciates more, but I'm not up for it, man. I'm not up for that responsibility. I'm barely up for a condo. Again, for me too, I don't want more than 500 square feet. You're not going to find a house, very hard to find a house under 1,000 square feet. If I bought a house 1,200, 1,500 square feet, I'd go crazy. Because it'd just be so much empty space. I mean, I'm struggling now with a 500 square foot condo. I'm looking at a dishwasher. I said, I'll never use this dishwasher. So I got my hands full. Good comment, Dean. It's great to see you. Thank you for everything. Frankencat. I've had some bad panic attacks. Thank you for sharing. They're no fun. They're a disaster. I agree. Luckily, I've only had them come mild anxiety since. Thank God. No major attacks. Thank the Lord. Thank goodness. I agree with you. Wishing you the best, Sam. You're very positive, Frankencat. Like I said, you've been a great addition to the channel. So thank you for sharing your story. I love to you. My man, Adam. Yeah, I understand what you're going through, Sam. Tough decisions. It's a disaster. Well, I'm thankful. I am fortunate. And, my man, Journey with Jordan. Well, I think about Dave Ramsey, man. What would Dave Ramsey tell me to do? He would say, you're out of debt. Buy that house. That's the next step on the baby steps. Because renting is a short-term thing. This is what Dave Ramsey tells people. And excuse me, I'm going to get back to your comment. This is what Dave Ramsey tells people. He goes, renting is good if you're heavily in debt or if you're not planning on staying in the area for at least 5 years. But if you're out of debt, if you have your emergency fund, and if you plan on staying in the same area for at least 5 years, you're better off buying. Even in a high economy. And again, I know Dave Ramsey is not perfect, but guy has helped me a lot. I got to admit it. And I say to myself, if I looked at all my counselors, and let's say Dave Ramsey's one of my counselors, basically buying the house is the next step. For me, at this point in my life. So, love to you, Journey. Great to have you, man. Back to Adam. Thank you for understanding, Adam. Sam, tough decisions. Are you still in the running for your condo, or do you have so much time before that deal runs out? Yeah, I spoke to the agent this week. I know I probably made the agent and the buyer, and I'm sorry, I probably made the agent and the seller a little bit frustrated. But money talks, Look, even if they're frustrated, if I'm the only deal on the table, and if, I sign, and if there's like I put a deposit, I would think they would accept. I mean, they could certainly say, look, we're tired of the back and forth. We're just going to go with someone else. They have that right. But, the other thing in my favor is I think I've made the best offer so far. Obviously, I have, because it hasn't gone under contract. So, but, I still think it's a decent deal. I do think it's overpriced about 20%, maybe 30%, worst case. So, that's a little bit tough. If I knew I was getting at least a pretty good deal, it'd make it easier. But I do feel I'm paying a little bit of a premium. I could try to wait it out, but, but I say beyond the premium that I would pay, what am I trying to do? Because I could get past the premium even though I don't want to. What does my summer look like if I don't buy a house? Does it look like sweating my ass off in the Jeep in South Florida? I don't see that. I'm not going to kill myself. Does it look like me going back up to New Jersey? I think about that, but then I said to myself, Sam, you did that last year and it was a disaster. So I don't see that. Do I see myself getting a travel trailer or Class B? I've been trying to really see that. But I say to myself, that's a short-term decision, man. And I don't know, I think that kind of puts me a little bit backwards. I mean, again, if I was in a different season of life, it would be good. Like, again, I support people who are about to sell their house and get an RV and travel. I think if you're in that season, it's an awesome decision. I'm just not in that season. I already did that. So, I don't know. The answer is I know that this chapter's over. And that's my main goal tonight was I have to keep saying that because I honestly feel it. I look at it every way. I look at it logically. I look at it emotionally. I look at it financially. Again, financially, does it make sense to keep everything the same? Yeah. If everything stays the same with my job, if everything stays the same with my health, if nothing changes, look, if I bide my time for 10 more years, I'd be in a great position. But I really feel my quality of life is going down. And at a certain point, after you get out of debt and you save up a certain amount of money, it's nice to see the digits go up, but, you're not taking any with you. And again, you're just basically trading off years of your life. Because to be honest with you, right now, I would actually feel more comfortable if I was in my condo with a ceiling fan and in a stable environment, if I'm honest. And right now I feel very out of place in this parking lot. I feel very out of place. And I've been feeling very out of place at night. I've been feeling very much like, Sam, man, this is over. What the fuck are you doing? And it's dangerous when you feel that way because I've never felt that way. But again, I mean, I digress because I've been saying that for the past 2 weeks and I apologize for that. But again, I got to go back to, I got to talk this out. And the bottom line is I can't end every night of my day and keep saying to myself that I should be doing something different because then I know something's wrong. The only thing is, look, if I just put it in gear and I start moving around a little bit, I could probably alleviate some of this because the nomadic life is meant to be moving around. And so I think that if I got back into that rhythm, I'd be okay. But again, would I be just fooling myself? Because I know exactly what's out there. Again, I don't have a desire to go to Alaska or go out west. Not my thing. Teach their own. So if I just go the normal route, if I just start traveling north, I know exactly each step, what I'm going to see, how it's going to play out. And I do like to travel up north in the fall. I think the fall is a great time to travel up north. The summer, not so much, because the summer is just crowded. Everyone's doing the same thing, and everyone has been so bunkered down with COVID. I feel like this summer is going to be even more crowded up north. I really do. And I don't know, but I think at the end of the day that's pretty much what I'm going to have to face with. Either one is I'm going to start to explore more, get to South Florida with no air conditioning. I'm not going to do that another summer. I did that 2 summers. I ain't doing another summer. And I don't know if I want to invest in an RV if I'm not going to stay on the road. So we'll see. Journey, again, great to see you, brother. Awesome to see you. D, I hope ESP is safe wherever she is on the road. I do too. I was thinking about her all day. Again, ESP got back in her van today, full time, I believe. So she's a very smart woman. She's been through a lot. She lost her husband. She's maintained a good job. She's very wise in her life. And she is definitely in a season where she needs adventure because she's been cooped up for 8 months. She really enjoys exploration and being in her van. She like Frankencat, she likes like outer space and stuff. But it is very hard. You go from a stable environment to she's in a transition. So one of my first videos I did about the nomad life is it's going to take you about 3 to 6 months to get into a rhythm. And, it's like, it's rocky in the beginning. It's like starting a new job. The first month is a little hairy. But after you've been there for a couple months, it's second nature, So I remember I started this one job. There was like this big building we were in charge of. And I was very overwhelmed by all the equipment, all the components. And I remember our manager saying, look, your number one job for the first 2 months is just learn the building. That's it. And, that's like anything in life. When you're just starting something, just get familiar with the basics. You're surviving. Okay? That's what you're doing in the beginning. You're surviving. Okay? After that, you get to that exploration. You start to tinker with things. Then you're in building. Then you become a master of something, or, you don't want to say master, but then you become, a more of a, informed person to be able to execute, So, my man Journey. Wow, Sam. You are about to hit 20K subs. Yeah, I'm very thankful for that. Fortunate. Subs don't equal money. Nope. But it's a big milestone, and I'm excited to see your channel and, more importantly, your influence continue to grow. Well, brother, you've been with me for a long time, like a few of my members have. So you're part of it. My YouTube channel is at an all-time high. Last month was the highest I ever had in 1 month revenue. It went down a little bit this month, but it's still overall some of the highest revenue it's ever been. The views are very high. The subs are getting higher. But, YouTube is that dynamic where you have to be very cautious not to depend on it and not to feel entitled to it. And you have to treat it with, like any job, even though it's a side job, you have to treat it with respect and consistency. And so, I am fortunate that I have that also as an avenue. For 1, just sharing. For 2, being creative. For 3, a side hustle. And also, it ties into my gift, which is communicating, encouraging, sharing, being vulnerable, while being virtual, because I don't like to be too committed to anything. So, thank you, brother, for everything. D, $4 super chat, super sticker with a coffee emoji. Thank you, D. Thank you, D. Love to you. And I remember everything that you shared about your life and your testimony, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I have gratitude for you. and for everyone, thank you. And like I say, I really do hope, that my videos, whether they entertain you, whether they inspire you, whether they make you think, whether they comfort you, and I know sometimes, again, I know they frustrate people. I do admit that at times I've went too far. I'm trying to correct some of that behavior. So, it's life. My channel, for the most part, I think it's a very realistic channel. That's my niche. It's about as real as it gets. Journey with Jordan, $4.99 super chat. Thanks for all you do, Sam. Thank you. You have been a big blessing in my life. Well, love to you. You guys did it for yourselves. But I'm thankful and grateful that you shared your life with me, that you shared your ups and your downs, and that you're on and up. You built your life. You rebuilt your life. You got back up. And you overcame. You went to your next chapter. That's kind of a common theme. If I ever did spark someone along their journey, just like other people sparked me, whether the ultimate warrior, a pastor, a friend, doesn't matter. If someone sparks you, all they do is help you to get over the chapter that is over. A spark pushes you to your next chapter. And that's where most people, and I'm struggling with it right now, get caught in life. They can't turn the page. They can't stop thinking about their ex-wife. They can't stop thinking about the death of a child. And I understand all those things. Who am I to say anything like that? So keeping up a Bree, $1.99 super chat. Hey, you super sticker, Bree. Love to you. You're a young, beautiful woman with a great career ahead of her, no matter what you do, even if you transition out of healthcare, because you've learned the value of show up even when it's a little bit uncomfortable, and you've also learned the value of it's okay to make mistakes and still show up, and appreciation to you. Savat, our newest Floridian, I saw your comment yesterday, $4.99 super chat. They helped me a lot, not only with moving to Florida, but with life. Love to you. Got rid of a lot of toxic people. Well, congratulations, Savat, on two things. Shout out again to all my truck drivers. Congratulations on coming to Florida. I know you say you're in the Jacksonville area and you're loving it. And definitely congratulations on getting rid of toxic people. It's not easy, even when you know someone is not good for you. Turning the page away from someone that you're used to in your life is very hard. And I feel a lot of people going through that even tonight. And I empathize with it. I remember, that one Asian girl that I had to get over. I struggled with that, man. And I don't understand why. She was good people. I really liked her. And I still got nothing but love for her. But I would thank God I was able not to go back. But that was the first time in my life that I was like, man, it is hard not to go back to someone. Remember, a toxic relationship is not just physical abuse, but emotional abuse. And emotional abuse is not just yelling at someone. It's when you feel like the relationship is not reciprocal. And, we have to be honest with ourselves. There's times that other people like us more than we like them. And we need to remember that. We need to remember that because when we like someone else more than they like us, we have to be fair in our evaluation to remember there's plenty of times where other people wanted us more than we wanted them. And that will keep you fair-minded in your evaluation of life. Thank you again, Savat, and congratulations. Love to you. Keeping Up with Bree says, honestly, when I knew I needed a job change, I aggressively took it and never looked back. Sometimes it takes you to do something and not look back. Well, I agree with that too. I definitely agree with that. Don't turn, that was like that parable in the Bible. Don't look back. Don't turn to salt. So yeah, there's definitely a time in life where, you change your number or you totally don't look back and you just keep moving forward. I agree with that. Love to you, Bree, and thank you again. And Adam said, finally going back to work on Monday. Well, love to you. Adam's been dealing with sickness. He had got COVID. Now he's getting ready to get back on in a saddle. He goes, last weekend to do self-care, back to reality. I know it's scary, Adam. It's scary to get back to work. So just remember, just show up. Showing up is 90% success. And at the end of the day, you will feel better after you showed up. That's what you remember. At the end of the day, you will feel better for having showed up. And at the end of the week or every other week, you will feel way better getting that direct deposit. Never forget it. My man, Journey with Jordan. Absolutely, Sam. For the first time in a long time, I'm very excited for my next chapter. I've learned the importance of being excited. This is a good point. I've learned the importance of being excited about your life plan. I got to get back there. You actually woke me up with that. And the impact hope has on a daily motivation. Yeah, well, Journey, you just preached to me on that one. I got to get back to that mindset. And that's I feel a little bit that I do want to apologize for being a little bit redundant in talking these things out, because I know what you're saying is absolutely correct. I have to, whatever I do, even if I decide to stay the same, I got to talk it out, but I also have to get back to the point where I'm being hopeful and I'm being enthusiastic and I'm being, I'm not living in fear. I'm a little bit caught in an algorithm where I'm thinking worst case scenario now all the time, and that's not healthy. Can't live like that. And I have a lot to be thankful for. I have a lot to be excited about. I have a lot to be hopeful for. So, Journey, I thank you for sharing that word, man. I received that, man. All right, guys and girls, thank you, everyone. I truly, truly appreciate everyone. I believe I read everyone's comment. If I didn't, please forgive me. Thank you again to everyone who watches. Thank you to all my members. Thank you to all the gracious super chats and tips. Again, I'm grateful for them. I'm not entitled to them. Thank you. And keep pushing forward one day at a time, one step at a time. Okay, and we'll go from there. Thank you.